This is the C8 Corvette. And why do they call it a C8, you might ask? Well, it's because there's been 8 generations of Corvettes. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to make a video going back to the first generation and go through each one and just give you a brief detail on each generation and what they look like and just some information about them. So here we go. This is the C1, or the first generation. It was built from 1953 to 1962. Chevrolet was very innovative in the 50s by making the first mass-produced fiberglass bodied car. It was kind of a daring move at that time because everybody at that time thought heavy metal, the more the better. So if you look at some of the cars of the 50s, you can really tell they put a lot of metal into them, but not the Corvette. It had a fiberglass body. C1 was all convertibles. And as you can see in this one, this is a 1959 model that I saw at a cruise-in outside of Nashville, Tennessee. They had a lot of chrome on them, but they still had a fiberglass body. Made them fairly lightweight. This is a beautiful car. This one is actually unrestored. This is a car it's been painted and kept up real nice, but it's an unrestored car that's fun to take to the cruise-ins, according to the owner, who I met, and did a nice job with it. The 59s were beautiful cars. They have a neat feature. The exhaust pipes come out of the rear bumpers. Kind of nice. And then a little later down, the C2 came out in 1963 and ran through 1967. They were quite a step up as far as the advanced engineering compared to the C1. They had independent rear suspension, disc brakes, a lot of performance features, and they also had a lot of comfort features like air conditioning, and you could also even get power windows, which was kind of novel. This particular one is a 66 model with a 427, they call a big block. Also has side pipes. The exhaust pipes come out each side under the door, which that was popular in the 60s for some reason, and on into the 70s too. As you were getting in and out of the car after the motor had been running a while, those were a little hot, so you had to be a little careful. But a popular design feature. The C2s came in as a coupe like this one, or convertible. And here's a 64 convertible. And here's a 66 convertible. And it's got the side pipes too. Nice car. 4-speed, side pipes, turbine wheels. And this one also has the big block 427, which was a real powerhouse engine. It was optional. Most of them had 327s, which was a small block, a little lighter weight, but the 427 performance was a lot faster. And then they came out with a C3, which ran from 1968 to 1982, which was 15 model years. That's the longest run of any generation of Corvette. The C3s were around a long time. And this red one is a 69 model, belongs to a friend of mine. They are really neat cars. They were very similar mechanically to the C2, but they really updated the body. This black and silver one is a 1978 Indy pace car. All the Indy pace cars had this same paint scheme. One thing that the C2s had, of course, they came in convertibles or coupes. They had a feature that was popular in the 70s called T-tops, which you had a removable top. If you look at this red one closely, you'll see a little seam down the middle of the roof roof. That's where each side comes off, and you can remove that and roll down the rear window, and you've got almost a convertible. This gray or the silver one is a 1982. This was the last year of the C3. This is an official 82 collector's edition, kind of a rare car. This one has very low mileage, and nice car, very, very pretty. This was the first Corvette that had a hatchback rear window, so kind of handy to put your luggage in. And then after the C3 had that long run, they came out with the C4 in 1984. You notice they skipped 83. There was no such thing as a 1983 Corvette. So the C4s were very advanced engineering-wise over the C3s. This particular white one is a white convertible. This is an 89 model. And C4s were much more comfortable cars than the C3s. Good performance, a little more power. And they were innovative in their hood. The whole front end flips up so you can get to the engine, front suspension, brakes, and everything. So it's very very handy. This coupe shows off the. They got away from the T-tops from the C3s, and they have a single top, a target top. So that whole top comes off. And here's the C5. It ran from 1997 through 2004. Mechanically very similar to the C4, but they upgraded the body and the interior quite a bit. It has the target tops, or convertible, or in this case, this red one is a Z06, and it's a true hardtop coupe. Top's not removable or anything. It makes it much stronger. The Z06 was a performance option that was available on the C5s. Had a little over 400 horsepower. So a very popular car with tuners and people who like to do some amateur racing. This is a good track car, just right out of the factory. Another C5 next to it is a convertible. More of a cruiser, pretty car. And then you had the C6. It's 2005 to 2013, which is one of my favorites. They took the C5 and trimmed it a little bit, made it a little more high performance, improved the interior a great deal. And this particular one is a ZR1. This is a supercharged V8 with a little over 600 horsepower. So it's a very good performer. And they made a lot of engineering advancements on these. Now, notice the C6 had exposed headlights. Prior to this, all Corvettes had hideaway headlights all the way back to 1963. Okay, we're going to step back a little bit. This is a C5 convertible. I wanted to show you the difference between the C5 and the C6. The C6, a yellow C6 parked next to this one. As you can see, the C5 has hideaway headlights. And if you look over here at the C6, it has exposed headlights. C6 also has a little trimmer body. The interior is much nicer. The engine's about the same. Performance is similar. It's a more comfortable car than the C5. And when you come around to the back of them, you can see a good way to tell the difference between the two. The C6 had 4 round taillights. And if you look at the C5, it has 4 oval taillights, slightly oval. Makes it look a little bit wider on the rear. So that's a good way to be able to tell the C5 from the C6. And then we have the C7, which came out in 2014 and ran through 2019. Very sharp angular design, a lot of sharp edges. Very different from the C6, which was a lot more rounded corners. But the C7 is a very sleek car. And the taillights, they changed them again. Still have 4 taillights, but now they're kind of a angular or rectangular-ish. And then the C8 came out in 2020. And this is the first true mid-engine Corvette. Here you have a C8, and here's the engine behind the front seats. 495 horsepower. Very good performance. 0 to 60 in 2.8 seconds, which makes it the fastest Corvette to date. So C8 is going to be a popular car and a very good performer. Much more comfortable interior and just a better overall car. Much improved. So there you have it. The 8 generations of Corvettes. Hope you've enjoyed the video. I know I have. Looking back through all the 8 generations, these are fun cars. If you like it, please hit the like button. And thanks for watching.